engine's still warm.
Say, did you see the skid marks out here? They go at a direct right angle to the direction of travel.
No digs in the macadam either. Somebody was hurt. There's blood all over this thing.
What is this black menace that kills everything it sees and hears? No human mind could imagine the enormous destructive power of this maddened, killing thing. If you're young people in love, look out. If you're driving a lonely road, you're as good as dead.
There's been a lot of livestock missing lately. That doesn't make headlines, but now it's people.
Never in the history of the United States, a monster of such size and power and horrifying hatred of man.
The following is a paid advertisement. Really? A paid advertisement? Wait, the B-Movie Cast got paid? Yes, the following is a paid advertisement. This episode of the B-Movie Cast is brought to you by the estate planning services of Twyla Minear Brooks, attorney at law. Remember, when the zombie apocalypse comes, things will move pretty fast.
The body should be disposed of at once, preferably by cremation.
Well, how long after death, then, does the body become reactivated?
It's only a matter of minutes.
Minutes? Well, that doesn't give people time to make any arrangements.
Oh, you're right. It doesn't give them time to make funeral arrangements. The bodies must be carried to the street and burned. They must be burned immediately. Soak them with gasoline and burn them. The bereaved will have to forego the dubious comforts that a funeral service will give. They're just dead flesh and dangerous.
So don't leave your estate planning needs until the last minute, because you don't know when that last minute could come. Call Twyla Minear Brooks, attorney at law, at 859-351-2294. That's 859-351-2294. Remember, when you go, you don't want people saying,
"Yeah, they're dead. They're all messed up."
Twyla Minear Brooks, attorney at law, is licensed for practice in the state of Kentucky. Consult your local attorney for matters outside of the state of Kentucky.
Command mark. The time will be running at X-20 seconds. Mark. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Fire.
Spawned by the continuing decline and fall of society as we know it, and created on the second-floor spare-bedroom studio in the Piedmont of South Carolina. Podcasting on a shoestring budget and changing the world one freak at a time. It's the B-Movie Cast with your host, Vince Rotolo.
From coast to coast and worldwide via the internet, this is the B-Movie Cast, the podcast of unusual film and television.
Hi, guys, and welcome back once again to the B-Movie Clubhouse for episode 517 of the B-Movie Cast. Before I go any farther, I want to get our contact information out of the way. We love hearing from all of you, so we have a feedback segment devoted to your comments and suggestions, and this is how you can contact us. Option 1, pick up your phone and dial 888-936-0808. This is a toll-free number and a very easy way to leave a voice message. Option 2, you can make your own MP3 file and send it into bmoviecast@gmail.com. Or use your smartphone voice software and record a call, then just send that in as an attachment instead. Or option 3, if you're not into talking, you can just shoot us an email to bmoviecast@gmail.com. Our website is bmoviecast.com, where you can subscribe to the podcast. It's free, and there you can join us on the Facebook B-Moviecast fan page and letterbox. Also, you can play the contest by sending in your answer by email to bmoviecast@gmail.com with contest in the subject line. And check out the links while you're there, or buy a t-shirt. I currently have smalls to 4X's. If you want to help us financially, there's a donation box you can click on as a supporter on the Lugosi, Karloff, Agar, and the infamous Xanadu level through PayPal. Also, the easiest way to donate is to click on the Amazon bar on the right side of our homepage. This Amazon link will take you to Amazon.com to make your purchase. It doesn't cost you anything, and you can still log into your personal accounts when you get there. It's completely private, so think about us before you buy online. So now, through the miracle of modern technology and thousands of miles of wires, server farms, PCs, Macs, the Internet, and duct tape, we have our co-host from Lexington, Kentucky, author, editor, screenwriter, film producer, Nic Brown. He has a new website. It is authornicbrown.com. That's AuthorNicBrown.com. He is the author of the Werewolf for Hire book series, starting with Blood Curse. He's also selling a book in collaboration with his wife, Fiona, the B-Movie Cookbook. All of these are available on Amazon. He's produced 2 movies, Wretch and Loss Prevention. Both can be ordered on Blu-rays or DVDs through Amazon. He is also the producer of a 3rd film, Fall of Usher. Our guest host today is Bill Mize, who is a former podcaster and the host of Bill Watches Movies podcast. Having seen the folly of his ways, he now bides his time as a retiree in a small town in Kentucky, where he passes the time drinking ale-8 sodas, eating beer cheese, volunteering at his local church, playing the Call of Cthulhu tabletop role-playing game with his friends online, and occasionally venturing out of state to attend conventions and see old friends. He's also occasionally called out of podcasting retirement to appear on other podcasts, but cannot imagine why. There are other creative endeavors in the works, but that's another story for another day. Oh, he also hangs out with Nic and his wife Fiona, which is a perfectly fine way to pass the time on a beautiful Kentucky evening. Today's film is a Nic Brown pick again. Our movie today is the Giant Gila Monster, and I'm going to destroy this word so many times because it's spelled Gila, but it sounds like Gila. So, okay. I'm just warning everybody ahead of time. It's an American 1959 sci-fi horror teen hot rod film. Directed by Ray Kellogg and produced by Ken Curtis, the one and only Festus from Gunsmoke. This film definitely belongs to the early 50s, 60s golden era of sci-fi monster genre, especially those 1950s teen monster movies like I Was a Teenage Frankenstein and Teenagers from Outer Space and Teenage Zombie. And where else can you see a film with a giant lizard, a Miss Universe contestant, and a real KLIF disc jockey star? Glad we did this one. It's been too long since we've done a classic 50s sci-fi flick. And although I could have done without all the singing,
there was 2 bits singing, Mary. It wasn't Xanadu. Okay, gentle listeners, I have to step in on this. I got a text from Mary randomly. Nick, it's a musical. Nick, it's a musical with a lot of explicatives. In no definition of the term musical would you find the Giant Gila Monster or Gila Monster or
okay. I don't know why. I just really noticed it in this one. I guess it's been a while since I've seen a bunch of teenagers from the 1950s dancing to music constantly.
You mean a bunch of 30-year-olds?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I do want to note Don Sullivan was 30 when he made this.
Was he really? Wow. Okay. That kind of explains some stuff.
Just saying.
Yeah. Okay, well, everybody just sit back and enjoy the camp. I watched this Big Lizard on Amazon Prime, and it wasn't the greatest copy out there. There's a restored version from Film Detective. There's also a Blu-ray restored from the 35mm print from Film Masters. And this one has a bonus restored version of The Killer Shrews on it. Woo! and a Ray Kellogg, an unsung master, Ballyhoo Motion Pictures documentary on it. So that would be a good one to get. And there's
actually Ballyhoo does some really good little Blu-ray feature documentaries. So yeah, that documentary probably makes the set worth buying all by itself.
Yeah, I think so. Well, and then the Killer Shrews, of course.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's not every day you get to see Roscoe P. Coltrane shooting at a bunch of dogs in wigs.
Hey, don't ruin it for me. I haven't seen it yet.
Okay. Well, I've ruined it for you. Okay. Actually, I didn't ruin anything, Mary. That's pretty much on the cover.
Okay. There's a colorized version of the 59 film free on YouTube and Tubi.
Sorry, colorized.
I know. For those of you who haven't seen enough, there's the 2012 color remake TV movie called Gila, directed by Jim Wynorski.
I have a story about that.
Okay. Oh, good.
Do you want to hear it now?
Yeah.
I am an uncredited producer on that film. Because I had a falling out with the main producer, Bill Dever, and, because, he ripped me off of a bunch of money for some productions and gave me a bunch of worthless software as my payoff, but I digress. Anyway, yes, wow. I am an uncredited producer on that film because I put money into it and never saw a penny. The other story I have, did I sound a little bitter there? I am just a little bitter on that one. But the other funny story is, in 2014, I believe, Fiona's parents flew over from the UK, and we met them in jolly old New York City. And we spent a few days tooling around in New York before we went off to Niagara Falls and other adventures. Okay. And whilst in New York, my lovely wife, Fiona, had purchased me a birthday present, which was a guided film location tour of Central Park. Ooh. And as we're walking on our tour, the nice young lady doing the tour, we were right at the front, and she was talking to me and Fiona, and she mentioned that she was an actress. And I said, well, have we seen you in anything? And she said, well, the only thing that's really out right now is I was one of the leads in a movie that you've probably never heard of called Gila. Yeah, what are the bloody odds?
Wow.
Yeah, I know. So we had a very interesting talk. So, by the way, love Jim Wynorski.
Did you get to meet him?
Yes, Mary. I've gotten to meet him. I was on the set of one of his films for a day, got yelled at it by him because everybody who is on a set of a Jim Wynorski film gets yelled at once in a while, but that's okay. No, he is a very talented filmmaker who I think, well, let's just say his talents are going to waste, but that's beside the point. Also, check out the documentary Papatopoulos. I will include a link.
Okay, good.
Because that is a documentary about Jim Wynorski making an entire feature film in 3 days.
Wow.
And that was kind of his business model for a long time.
Yeah.
By the way, you and I have been talking a lot. Hi, Bill.
He can't get a word in edgewise.
Good evening. Well, it is, the Nic and Mary show. I'm just kind of the Ed McMahon to your Johnny Carson. So I'll just sit back here and go, hey-oh, every once in a while. Hey-oh.
Okay, did you guys see the MST 3K version of this
numerous
movie?
Times,
Yeah,
absolutely.
Wow.
As a matter of fact, I'll be blunt. I've only watched the film twice that wasn't the Mystery Science Theater version.
Really?
And watching it for this podcast was one of them.
Wow.
I'm same here.
Wow.
Yeah.
I kept wanting to make the voice that they make for the lizard.
I know.
Like, hello, I
did that too.
I'm crawling over this sand dune,
Oh, no.
Yeah.
La, 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 la,
it's
la,
the best. Oh, yeah. But, bonus points for Don Sullivan, special songs by Earworms. And the bird said, dance, children, dance. Na, na, na. I mean, you watch this movie and the songs are just earworms immediately.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not in a good way.
That's okay, because Steamroller Smith liked them.
That's right.
Yes.
Drunken tuxedo wearing DJ's named Steamroller.
And you know what? No, I'm going to wait until later to start talking about his character. But my God, alcoholism in the 50s. Wow. It was a whole different thing.
Okay.
Well, okay. The dude wrecks his car because he's drunk and the Gila Monster walks in front of him, right? And he gets towed by Chase, sleeps for several hours.
Yeah.
And it's still supposedly just midday. So that means he was drunk enough to wreck his car and be that much of an idiot at like 7 or 8 in the morning. Yeah.
Well,
who's that knocking at the door? It's alcoholism.
Well, this is also the era where the doctor said, smoke during pregnancy because it's good for you and calms your pregnant nerves,
It does. It calms your pregnant nerves. It's not really
known for high quality, health recommendations.
Yeah. Wow.
Drink alcohol. It'll calm your pregnant nerves,
Can I just say that was the greatest generation because they were adults then and they lived through it.
Yes.
It wasn't just the war. It was the smoking and the drinking and the Valium. And, oh, my God.
Yeah.
But I digress.
Yes.
Well, they had just come back from a war that none of them ever talked about. They're also called the silent generation for a reason. So
yes,
that led to a lot of smoking and drinking, I'm thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And as a matter of fact, my grandfather was a medic. He was I think he was a colonel because, I think by the time he got out, he was a captain. Mm-hmm. But he was in the Army Medical Corps serving with an artillery unit. And I only know that from my grandmother telling me. My mom, he never said a word to about his experience in the war.
No.
Yeah, my dad never did either.
Same. Yeah. My dad was in it, and he's clammed up.
Unless he's with his buddies.
And down at the old American Legion building.
Talk about it. No, I mean, if the friend and his wife would get together with my dad and mom and all us kids, the kids would go in one room, the moms would go in another room, and the dads would go in another room, and they would talk about it, I think one of them was in a prison camp for a while, so I mean, they would like do stuff back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, I digressed big time.
You digressed
quickly, didn't it?
Okay, one of the best places to see this is on archive.org, and Nick's going to post the link. And
but don't get it mixed up with the link to Papadopoulos. You'll be very confused.
Yes, you will. Yeah. But Archive did a widescreen quality upgrade of the Giant Gila Monster, so you can see it there. And that's all I have.
That's all you have? The podcast is over?
Yeah.
Good night, everybody.
Bye. I've had a long day. I'm not...
So, before we get any farther...
Yes.
Are we going to do a contest? Yes. And no, Mary, I'm not giving anything away.
Okay. The answer to the contest was Wolfen from 1981, which I think is another movie that we should do because I've never seen it.
I'm all about doing Wolfen, Mary. That is I really enjoy that movie.
Good.
I think it is underrated. And I think Bill Mize would like the movie because it has...
Albert Finney?
Well, Albert Finney's in it, yes. But who's your favorite Battlestar commander?
Oh, that's right. Edward James Olmos, Commander Adama, baby.
James Olmos is in it.
Oh, yeah.
What was that? Was that Battlestar Galactica?
Yes.
Okay.
He played... This was the reboot.
The reboot.
I just found out that there's a cartoon of that now. There's an animated
No, there
one.
isn't.
There's a
It's
cartoon of Babylon 5.
Babylon
now.
5. Okay, I'm sorry. I got
You were so close. They both begin with the letter B and take place in a dark place called space.
And I saw them
So
40,
yeah, you were close.
40
yeah.
years ago. Yeah, so yeah. Okay. Enough of that. It's time to give away some prizes.
All right.
Okay, our first prize is the really cool Santi Tito surprise package. Since this is a surprise to us, let us know what goodies are in the package so we can post it. And he's giving a warning that if you don't send in photos, your prize package might get a little smaller the next time you win. Ooh. So, the winner is Marlo Brown. So congratulations, Marlo. And Santitito will be sending that off to you in Texas. Okay, our second prize is the 35th anniversary DVD from Phil Pine. And it's called Wizards from 1977. And it's a great movie. I loved it.
Yes.
Well, again, I saw it 30 years ago, so I don't quite remember it all, but
and you were probably high, so yeah.
Well, they were high when they made it.
It was
so.
very psychedelic.
As one is when one sees all Ralph Bakshi movies.
Yes.
Yeah.
This post-apocalyptic animated cult film was written, produced, and directed by Ralph Bakshi. He's also known for Fritz the Cat, Heavy Traffic, and Coonskin. A pint-sized wizard named Avatar must save the world from a band of fascist mutants. This bizarre... Aren't the fascist mutants us? Aren't we the ones that mutated the humans? Anyway.
Well, I have so much I could say about this, Mary, but I am not going to say a word.
Don't go there. This bizarre and psychedelic meditation on magic versus technology is a must-see for all cultist completists. And the winner is Don Falcos. Well, since
all
he's
right,
a
Don.
Storyteller, I don't know if he's going to like this one or not, but we'll see.
Is a legit question. I don't know if he'll like it or not either. But if he doesn't like it, he can always mail it to me.
And he can send it on to somebody else, yeah. Sounds good. Our third prize has been donated by Stan Ward. And this is great. It's a 4-volume series on the zombie apocalypse written by Stephen Knight, Knight. It starts with The Gathering Dead, written in 2011. Then Left with the Dead, from 2011, The Rising Horde Volume 1 from 2012, and The Rising Horde Volume 2 from 2012. The zombie apocalypse has begun, and Major Cordell McDaniels is given the most important mission of his career. It's a really nice set of books.
That does sound like a nice set of books.
Yeah. And the winner...
Is it too late for me to enter the contest, Mary?
Yes, it is. It is.
Damn it.
I'm pretty sure you have to recuse yourself, Nick.
Yeah, well, since you're the one that put up the photo.
You know, I usually do, but I do get jealous sometimes of some of the cool prizes we give away.
Okay, and the winner is Santi Tito. Wow.
Well, hey!
What the heck is going on here? I demand a Hanging Chad recount on this one.
I don't, because he gives away some good prizes.
That's true. And maybe once he reads them, he'll send them back to me or put them in prize package for somebody else.
There you go.
Hey.
Yeah.
That's a great idea, actually.
Yeah. Yep. So that's it. That's it for the contest prizes.
Well.
And on to the Giant Gila Monster.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Giant Gila
Monsters. People were making fun of the fact that they didn't do like a animated CGI or some kind of monster. They were making fun of the fact that it was a lizard, a real one. And I liked it. I liked the fact
the funny thing is it's
lizard.
not actually a Gila monster.
Well,
it's actually a beaded lizard.
That's true.
Yeah. Because they couldn't handle the actual Gila monster. And the handler's dead. And the other handler's dead.
Well, the Mexican one, the Mexican Beaded Lizard, I think, is can kill you too. I think.
Only if it falls asleep on your face while you're asleep and you suffocate. Come on, Mary.
And okay, I read this really weird thing. I even sent it to my brother because he's diabetic. All you diabetics out there, I don't know if any of you have ever had a drug called Byetta, Byetta, for type 2 diabetes. It's a synthetic blueprint of a protein that was isolated from the Gila Monster's venom. For real.
Yeah. I want to see people trying to milk those suckers for the venom. That's where the challenge is.
They actually made that drug from a Gila Monster venom.
And see, now we need to watch the movie SSSSS with Strawberry Martin and Dirk Benedict.
Which is a Battlestar Galactica throw in.
I know. We got another Galactica
synchronicities.
It's a good movie. It's really fun.
Actually, S is, I guess that's how you say it. S.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, now everybody listening to the podcast, by the way, thinks that their speakers are bad.
I know.
Probably.
White noise.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
All right. So
you guys like this movie?
Absolutely.
Cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for real. It's a fun little flick, and it reminds me in a way of Tremors.
Really?
And okay, not because of the monster, but because of the fact that they never really explain it. They just say, it's out there, and sometimes they grow really big if they get these hormones.
Oh,
but
well,
it's all
we had the whole Jack Arnold dollar store science speechifying at the beginning, which kind of threw some science into it. Like, there are places where light has never shone. I'm like, okay, it's the desert, dude. I'm pretty sure there aren't any places where the light has never shown. But, it's just dollar store Jack Arnold. You throw a little bit of Bible in there, a little bit of science, some dramatic music, and you're good. That hand waves everything.
Yeah.
And
made sense
there's
to
a
me.
giant Gila Monster and go.
Yeah. Makes sense. I
But
want to know how it got
kinda
so
like
big,
that.
but nobody realized it was eating things.
I want to know how it hides so well. This is like the most. It's like it turns invisible, like it has the cloak of invisibility when, it's the size of a bus. They literally tell us it's the size of a bus.
Yeah.
But these people have no, the encyclopedia / Fuller Brush salesman has no situational awareness at all while he's lighting his cigarette, that he does not see a bus-sized giant Gila monster hissing and making its way toward him, and he just has enough time to scream and drop his cigarettes to be left later as a clue. So how does the monster do it? It's science.
I'm just amazed
it's science.
Well, lizards are very quiet.
I'm amazed that it's able to not knock over the suitcase.
Yes, it was very careful. This is a Gila monster that was actually raised right by good parents and has decorum and theology and geometry and it's a suitcase.
I know.
There might be something breakable in there. Let's just leave that alone while I drag his body off the street.
Yes.
Yeah, you know what? It's funny because you brought up that scene, and I have to make my one other comment, which was hitchhikers in the 1950s dressed a lot better.
Yes.
Dude was in a suit with a tie. It's like, God,
that's why I
the
figured he
last
was a
hitchhiker
traveling
I saw
salesman.
was,
Wow.
Man.
I don't remember seeing hitchhikers in the 50s.
I'd like to say I wasn't born in the 50s.
Well, that's true. I was so young, I wouldn't have known one if I saw
Mary,
one.
You were how often were you driving down the road in the 50s looking for hitchhikers to pick up? My God, Mary, what kind of person are you?
I was a very little one at that point.
How did your feet reach the pedals?
Really?
And could you drive a stick shift?
I still can't very well. It's pathetic. Yeah.
I was going to say, it's the 50s. Everybody had to drive a stick shift then, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. That's why my mom flunked her driver's test 3 times. Well, that and she couldn't reach the pedals. My mom was very short.
Mary, we're going down a very dark place in your life right now. You got a lot of bitterness about your mom not being able to drive because of those pedals and stuff. I don't know.
Some of those Tom Cruise brand lifts in her shoes, and she'll reach those pedals in no time.
No, my dad had to screw a block of wood onto the gas pedal so her foot could reach it, and then she had to sit on a cushion so she could see above the dashboard. Because those cars were so huge back then. I mean, you could fit a family of 20 in those things.
I got to say the hot rods were very, very sweet.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not a car person, but man, those looked really nice. Yeah. I could definitely see me driving one of those.
Mm-hmm.
There were a lot of good little hot rods in that. And, it was such a neat little combination of hot rodding movie with, the kids doing the dancing and the singing. I mean,
sody pop drinking.
The sody pop. They really ticked all the boxes.
They did. There are so many tropes. You have to kind of wonder if this is like the Ur movie that created some of these tropes,
Oh my God!
It's just wonderful. It's a fun little movie, and it's only barely 70 minutes long, so it's over before you even know it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, except the singing took a whole long time.
Oh my God!
Don
Mary,
Sullivan picked those songs out especially for you. He has a credit, and he has a special credit. Special songs by Don Sullivan. Just saying, picked them out just for you, Mary.
And Mary, just so you'll know, when they did the remake of Gila, they used, and the Lord said, laugh, or dance children, or laugh children, or whatever the heck it was.
Do something, children.
Yeah, well,
go to your rooms. You should be seen and not heard.
Laugh, children, laugh.
Yes.
Yep. Well, they gave Don Sullivan credit for writing and performing the song.
The Mushroom Song, and I Ain't Made That Way. All 3 of those songs were his.
And I just need to speak up, and I think Don Sullivan gets a bad rap. I mean, one of the final shows that I did for my podcast was The Monster of Piedras Blancas, which he did that one and this one in a pretty short period of time. Mm-hmm. And it always surprises me that he wasn't more popular than he became, because he's very innocuous. He's very white bread. He's very... If you need a sincere, outstanding 30-year-old teen, then, Don Sullivan's your guy, And I liked him. He's very likable, in both of those movies.
Yeah, we met him at the Monster Bash the one time he went up to the Monster Bash.
Oh my gosh!
And Vince actually did an interview with him, and it's on B Movie Cast episode 13. That's how long.
I'm going to look that up, because that would just be so wonderful.
Yeah, because he talked a lot. We talked about it with him a lot, because I was totally shocked that he looked that good. I think he was like 80 when he died or something.
Wow. So, that's wonderful that he got to go out to the conventions.
He looked incredible. And that's when he started telling us that he was a chemist in the hair industry. And he worked for Redken. And then he started Sassoon with Fidel Sassoon.
Dang. All right, then. And way to go, Don Sullivan.
Some of those chemicals must have been working, because the man looked good. He really did.
Okay, Mary, I'm going to say if he was a chemist who was working with Fidel Sassoon, he probably had money, and money is the best anti-aging remedy you can have.
So true.
Money solves money problems.
Money is, it's got a lot of properties. Mm-hmm. Let's just say that.
It's got a lot of anti-aging properties. You just rub money all over you, and it just magically takes those wrinkles away.
I know, right?
That's why I look the way I do.
And interestingly, he had 7 kids.
Wow.
I love hearing this. I love it.
Yeah. 7 kids, and I think he didn't start having kids till he was in his mid-40s.
Wow.
Because he didn't get married until 1975.
That's true.
And I will not think that Donald E. Sullivan had children out of wedlock.
No, never.
That will not enter
never.
my mind.
I refuse to believe that. Not my Donnie boy.
No, absolutely not. And by the way, okay, the old man, I forget his name, that owned everything apparently in the town and was somehow vaguely responsible for, his death, his dad's death and everything else.
Bob Thompson.
Yeah.
Mr.
That guy,
Wheeler.
Yeah, okay. What was his thing for hating on the boy?
He hated
my
everybody.
God.
He really had an axe to grind, didn't he?
He
the kid
did.
was,
I mean,
so
this kid is like Chase was the epitome of a good guy.
Yeah.
I mean, absolutely the best. Mother Teresa goes to him and asks for advice about being a good person, and this guy's just like, I really, really hate this kid. I'm Mr. Wheeler, and I own the whole ambiguous town, and I'm going to say that this kid is responsible for every bad thing that ever happened in this town. Arrest him, Sheriff.
I know.
He reminded me a lot of Mr. Potter from It's a Wonderful Life. That kind of crotchety old man who really needs to see 3 ghosts one night to really change his ways, or needs to see a hot rod full of nitroglycerin burst into flames against a giant Gila monster to really see the error of his ways. But, crotchety, thy name is that guy.
He needed to get eaten by the Gila monster.
Do what?
He needed to get eaten by it.
Okay, Mary, him getting eaten by the Gila monster would have been, expensive.
It would have
to
killed
show,
his
maybe?
hero's journey that was so carefully scripted during the 71 minutes, in keeping with Robert McKee and Joseph Campbell, that he needs to see the error of his ways when it comes to young Chase and his daughter or whatever, his nanny or whatever, the exchange student who is, Miss Universe. I do not like you, Chase. Oh, be quiet and kiss me, Frenchie.
Wow.
That sums it up.
That's you gotta get to the meat and taters here.
Well, I think that's the thing. Wow. This movie did just hit everything, because he had his French foreign exchange student who was living with the Wheelers as some sort of, I don't know, ward of the state.
I think it was a student exchange program. She came over from France, and maybe the Wheelers sent their daughter to Paris.
Okay.
Who knows?
Yeah, that would kind of,
That's yet another thing that's, this movie does not waste any time with backstory or explanations or logic or proper story structure. It's like, we got a giant Gila monster, people. Let's get on it. We need song, hot rod, song, hot rod. Let's go.
Little story.
Yep.
Yeah.
And, okay. I do have to say kudos for Mr. Wheeler for really getting over the death of his son instantly. I mean,
he was more pissed off that Chase drug it out of the ditch it was in.
Yeah. It's like, dude, your son is dead. Well, I can always have another. I just, what the hell?
He was not a nice man.
No, he wasn't.
And
I tell you who I felt really bad for, though, was the parents of the girl that was with Wheeler's son, Pat.
The Clampets.
Because they were so nice.
Yes.
And they're just like, oh, Sheriff, we know you're doing everything you can. We'll pray for we're you. Sure our daughter's a good girl, and there's nothing untoward going on here.
No, she goes to church every week, and They were wonderful.
Yeah.
Then, the sheriff, dollar store McCloud, just kind of wanders around and, puts his leg up on furniture and talks a lot. There was more leg-raising, speechifying, mansplaining. Every time you turn around, some dude's putting their foot up on something to tell you something.
Yeah, God bless. There was one scene when Chase was out in the woods with, I think Jenny was his French foreign exchange girlfriend's name.
Lisa.
And he actually found something to put his foot up on while he was talking to her.
Yes, there needs to be a nearby boulder to stop, rest my foot upon, and, tell you what a silly French girl you're being, and, pick up the pace. We've got dead bodies to find.
Qu'est-ce qu'elle say, giant lizard. So, okay.
Yes.
So we talked about Don Sullivan a bit, and I do recommend everybody go check out episode 13. Of the cast.
Yes.
I'm definitely
with
doing
the
that. I can't
interview.
wait.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we also had Shug Fisher.
Shug.
Heck yeah.
Shug.
Old Man Harris.
Shug.
As Old Man Harris.
Yeah, because his mother used to call him Sugar when he was a kid.
Oh, so it's Shug.
It's Shug.
Wasn't Shug.
Yeah.
It's like sugar. Yeah.
Not to be confused with Suge Knight, which would have been an entirely different movie altogether when you bring Suge Knight in to a, sody pop sarsaparilla thing. And, ooh.
Oh, my God. Yeah, I'm going to say you're right there.
He pulls up alongside you and pulls out a gun, starts blazing.
Yeah.
And the movie's over. And the lizard's dead. And the town's on fire.
And he loves his old car.
Oh, my God. So I had to bring him up, though, because he was in daggone near everything from the 1950s, 60s, 70s. I mean, his career, he started in 43, as far as I can tell.
Mm-hmm.
And, he made it all the way up through, heck, he was in episodes of Starsky and Hutch.
Beverly Hillbillies.
Return to the Beverly Hillbillies.
Actors, they're constantly working.
I know.
Yep.
If you've got a certain vibe or a certain shtick, like he did, you're in. You're in.
He sang with Sons of the Pioneers.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's
a really
great
good
call
voice.
out. I love that.
Yeah.
Well, and here's the other thing. He was 52 when he did this film.
That's
52 was a lot rougher back
Seriously.
than it is now. That's all I got to say.
Our boy Shug has lived a hard life, man.
Wow.
He did. Yeah.
It's all the sody pop. It's all the sarsaparilla.
I know.
And constantly he demands a sobriety test. You give me that sobriety test.
That's why he made that funny face when he drank the sody pop.
Yeah, because there wasn't anything in it.
Yeah, okay.
It's like, this stuff's awful without vodka in it. This stuff's awful without Jack Daniels in it. What the hell?
Oh, well,
Yeah.
You need that comedy.
Bless.
I'm all about it. Yeah, absolutely.
Now, we've circled back around to the undercurrent of alcoholism that ran through this film.
Seriously.
I got to call out the Mayberry, go lock yourself up.
Yes.
I mean, that's like right out of Mayberry with Otis the Town Drunk. It's like, okay, Shug, Old Man Harris, here's the key. Go lock yourself up.
I know.
It's wonderful.
Yeah. Barney Fife.
Well,
who was
that
the
was
guy
also
that
with
used
this
to be
mystical idea. Oh, go ahead, Mary.
Who was that guy's name that would lock
What?
himself up?
It was Otis.
Otis
the
that's
Town
it was
Drunk.
Otis.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Otis the Town Drunk.
Yeah.
Go lock yourself up, Mary.
Yeah, Mary.
Wow. Circling back to Fred Graham, the sheriff. He's another one of those actors that's just been in everything.
Yeah.
He was in
the Giant Gila Monster.
In my notes, I
wait,
had
he was
him
in
as
other
Dollar
stuff.
Store Broderick Crawford.
Oh.
Because there's a resemblance there from Highway Patrol, the old days. I could see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah. He was a stuntman. He's an actor in like 279 movies, but he's a stuntman in 233. And there's some guy that was I guess a stuntman coordinator, and he called him a legendary. He was legendary for his fisticuffs. He was the best brawler I've ever used.
And he was also really, really good at putting his knee up on, or his foot up on things.
You know, the one thing we look for in a sheriff is competence and mansplaining leg raising.
Yeah.
Yep. And don't forget, being concerned about how the tire tracks go perpendicular to the road.
Yes. And photography class, he evidently failed because those pictures didn't come out.
Yeah. Yep. And then the tire tracks disappeared the next day.
That doesn't surprise me as much. They'll fade out pretty quick if it rains or anything. But Mary says, okay, Mary.
Let's see, we have a lot of state highway patrol people that they do. I guess they block off a piece of road and they teach their guys how to do swerving.
Yeah, accident investigation.
Yeah, well, no, and then they teach them how to drive and how to swerve and how to brake and, do those 360 turns and stuff. So you'd be driving down the road in the country and you see all these skid marks all over the place and you're going, what in the world happened there? And somebody finally explained it to me that it was the highway patrol.
And you wished you could be out there driving just like them.
Well, if anybody who's ever ridden with Mary realizes it is sort of like riding in a car doing evasive maneuvers.
The key is to just buckle up and go limp.
Yes.
Yeah, buckle up, go limp, and keep your eyes shut.
That's what I do when I'm driving.
While driving.
Exactly. And that... But wait.
So many things just fell into place right now. There's so many things.
Oh, yes. That's why my insurance rates are so high.
But yeah, once again, this, Fred Graham ticked a box with his ridiculously homespun sheriff.
Yes.
And we had old
very,
man
very
Wheeler.
Concerned about Chase.
Yeah,
I know they had this
that's
really
because Chase is better. He's the reason that your kids aren't in trouble.
Yeah,
that's right.
I did actually like the fact that when the sheriff was first talking to Chase about Pat and the other young lady disappearing, and he said they weren't in trouble, were they? And Chase is all like,
with quotation marks
mean,
around
sheriff? And he does that. He does that thing where he looks kind of down and leans his forehead towards him. And yeah, you know what he's talking about there. That was pretty explicit for the day.
Oh, yeah. Trouble. Trouble.
But Chase didn't.
Yeah, a little bit of trouble there.
Goody two-shoes.
Do what?
He was a goody two-shoes.
He was a goody two-shoes, except for stealing parts off of other people's
Really? Hey, every time you turn around, Chase is magically lifting these parts, and they're finding it's like he's got a amateur chop shop going on in the back of the garage. How did those tires get on your hot rod, Chase? I don't know. How did that carburetor get in there? Well, beats the hell out of me.
Okay, I do want to call out something. By the end of this film, and yes, folks, you need to go watch it before you listen to this cast.
Yes.
Big time, in case we haven't already spoiled it for you, here comes some big spoilers. By the end of the film, Chase has cut a demo record for Steamroller Smith, so there's an implication that he is about to become a famous rock and roll star.
Yeah.
He has Mr. Wheeler telling him to come by the office and I'll on Monday, and we're going to get you a good job at whatever ambiguous drill rig factory manufacturing center coal mine that I run.
Lab. Who knows what's going on?
Yeah, who knows? But there's one other thing that's sort of implied there.
What?
You know, Old Man Compton, who owned the garage that Chase worked at, well, he done got ate by the lizard.
Yeah.
So I have a feeling that Chase had the opportunity to inherit a garage in the thriving town of middle of nowhere.
Yeah. Yeah, he did pretty good at the end of this movie.
Yeah, I mean, he was set up.
Yeah.
And his little sister, who was ambiguously crippled, I'm going to guess polio or something.
Yeah, let's go with polio.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's polio. You know, yeah, she was practically up ready to dance.
I know.
Well, that is because we have not mentioned the healing power of the impromptu toy banjo hootenanny.
Oh, yes.
You know, that's a real come to Jesus moment when all little girls with polio or questionable diseases can get up and actually walk across a living room to see their older brother strumming a toy banjo. So,
yeah,
never forget those healing powers.
And the Lord said, laugh, children laugh. Oh, God.
He sang that twice in this movie.
I know.
Yes.
The steamroller allowed it.
It was bad enough he had to sing it once, but then he had to sing it twice with that same stupid banjo.
Damn it, steamroller. Come on.
Okay,
Yeah,
can I also point
Keep
out
that kid off the mic with the Jesus song, but no.
Yep.
Yeah, what about the fact that Steamroller got him to sing that to all the teenagers at their barn dance?
I know.
Okay, and they were all like, "Oh, this is great." Really?
Yeah, this is a real finger snapper, toe tapper.
Was this a Mormon community or something? I mean, or Amish? What was it?
No, it's kind of a country song.
Yeah, well, Nick, these are good kids. These are good kids, and they like good music.
They were.
That's true.
That's where they raise them in Texas.
Yes. I thought this was in Colorado or something.
Well, it was filmed just outside of Dallas, so we're going to go with the ambiguous Texas.
Ambiguous Texas. You know, but this movie also has the message that, you know, rock and roll leads to heavy petting, and then of course heavy petting leads to death. So, you know, this is another, you know, good stereotype that that giant Gila monster really just drives on home.
Yeah.
It's true.
Now, this was
that, and you can use nitroglycerin for many things.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, God. And I also love the fact that Chase was like an explosives expert on top of everything else.
He could
you know, because it's like Old Man Compton shows up with it, and he's like, "You took it out. Of the case?
How dare
my
you,
God!"
Yeah. But then when they're driving around with it in the car at the end, man, that car is bouncing all over the place, and it didn't explode.
Well, Frenchie had a hold of it, so, you know, she was, you know.
She had
she
a
was
steady
taking care
hand,
of business.
Mary.
Okay. She patted it well.
There you go.
Hey. All right.
Moving right along.
We've hit some sort of weird lull.
What else do you have to say about the disc jockey?
Well, we've already pointed out his rampant alcoholism.
Well, no, I mean, he really was a disc jockey.
It was the producer owned the radio station, KLIM or whatever it was. So let's get our top DJ to just magically appear and get a little free advertising for the radio station.
I know. He did well.
I was going to say, I have to mention that Steamroller was brought to life, brought back from his drunken stupor by the dollar store version of Stomp, which is Don Sullivan singing his song, banging on a fender, and that's what, you know, got him the record deal.
Yeah.
Stomp.
Hey, I would have done it. You know?
Oh my God, you're right. I hadn't thought about that. But so really, Don Sullivan invented Stomp.
He is. We have Don Sullivan to blame for Stomp. And
my
using
God.
trash can lids and trash cans and anvils and whatever the hell else is going on in Stomp.
For all the people out there who don't know what we're talking about, just Google music Stomp and then watch a YouTube video, and then you will never want to see it again.
And we're very sorry.
Yeah.
Aww.
Mary's a closet stomp
I'm
fan.
a stomp fan.
Yeah, Mary is a closet stomp fan, but that's mostly because, she likes to beat stuff.
No, it's no Xanadu.
I just like the way that this, what was his name? Gordon McClendon.
McClendon?
The disc jockey?
McClendon?
No, the producer.
Oh, okay.
That owned the radio stations and theaters in Texas. I mean, he owned all these things, so he makes these movies just really to get more money for his theaters and his radio stations.
Well, yes, that's why producers make movies, Mary. To make money.
Well,
and,
yeah, but I mean, it was like it bolstered his other.
And that is a brilliant business model.
Seriously. He even had his family in this movie.
Yeah, well, if you're a producer,
they work for scale.
You can get your family in the movie. He who writes the checks does a lot of the casting.
Yes,
they were non-union and worked for, day rates and, getting able to go raid the food wagon.
Yeah, I'm imagining the catering at this was, they had some barbecue. That's about it. But anyway.
Well, McClendon is considered the inventor of top 40 radio.
Yeah, and I could see that.
Mm-hmm. And he
it wasn't Casey Kasem.
No.
No, Casey Kasem just talked about it.
He pioneered all news format, the easy listening format, and live broadcasting of baseball and sporting events.
Dang. All right then, McClendon.
There was a lot of pioneering going on with these guys.
Seriously. He had the Liberty Broadcast Network of radio stations throughout the country.
I will also mention that our boy Steamroller was very generous when it came to opening up the old wallet and throwing the sawbucks around. Because I was curious, He gave our boy Chase $40 for his trouble and keeping him out of court and DUIs and other things. In 2023 dollars, he gave Chase over $400.
Wow.
So, there you go.
Wow.
Hey, that's actually
I do the research, baby, before I come on the show. This is the type of high-quality guest star that I am.
And I'm going to say I appreciate that because,
Mm-hmm.
Duh.
And the kid only asked for like $3.
I know.
Well, based on what you just said, that would have been like saying he wanted,
20 or
$30. Yeah, 20 or 30, which is still a decent amount, know. But by the way, is it just me or was it funny that the radio station was KILT, which is kilt? Like the Giant Gila Monster killed all them people.
It sure did kill them. Killed them dead.
It killed them dead.
It blowed up real good.
Yes, sir. I tell you what. Now, going back to...
But it really was a radio station.
Yeah, it was an actual radio station.
It was.
Okay.
It was one of the ones that McLeod owned. Hello. So we were commenting about the cars.
Yes.
And I did find a little bit of trivia about the one. The car Chase drives was owned by a local farmer and drag racer, because I often think farmer, drag racer. Okay. John Mulkey, who won the B Street Roadster class with it in the 1958 NHRA Nationals.
I can believe that.
Dang.
What?
Well, a lot of NASCAR drivers come from like farm backgrounds like that.
Oh, yeah. Well, illegal road racing and, it was just a hop, skip, and a jump to monster trucks.
Yeah.
Yep. Monster trucks.
Monster trucks.
Oh, yeah.
They had to, they were running moonshine probably in the hot rods. So let's throw a little bit more alcoholism in there and some more
why not?
dubious life choices.
But not in this movie. They didn't do that. No, they were good boys.
This was not Cannonball Run 3.
These were good boys.
That's right. Festus would have it no other way.
That's true.
That's right. So, okay, little bit of fun on that.
Go
During
for
the
it.
bit where Chase is eavesdropping on the party line with the sheriff to find out about the accident, it's actually Ken Curtis who was the guy talking on the phone. So there you go. I see it's a big circle.
It's
Yeah.
Hakuna Matata.
Hakuna Matata, the circle of B-movie life.
The circle of Gunsmoke.
I did not know he sang until
Who?
I started Ken Curtis.
Ken Curtis, yeah.
Yeah. Because he was with the Tommy Dorsey band.
Yes, sir.
Wow. And the Sons
I
of
have
he
no
was in the
response
Sons of
to
the
that.
Pioneers, too. I guess I just
He
see
was probably
him.
the guy who got Suge into the movie if they were both Sons of the Pioneers.
Seriously,
And we're
yeah.
off on Sunday. Come film a movie with me, Suge. All right.
Yeah.
Actually, that sounds about right.
I know how Hollywood works, baby. I know how
That's right.
Hollywood works.
We'll give you all the sody pop you can drink.
We'll give you all the Jack Daniels and Coke you need. Just stay up right when the camera's moving.
Functioning alcoholism.
Delicious.
Curtis is also married to the daughter of John Ford.
I love it when I
So-
find out these actors have like
I
this
know.
vast history.
I know.
You know, you're just like, oh, that's just Festus, you know,
I
whatever.
know.
But then you're like, oh my gosh, it's wonderful to hear stories like that.
John Ford. But
I
I
have-
just think of Ken Curtis as Festus. I don't think of him as being a
Everybody
singer
does, yeah.
or, all this other stuff.
You don't
Weird.
think of him crooning in front of the Dorsey band in front of Bobby Sockers next to Sinatra.
Oh, no. Weird.
I love it.
All right. So
Moving along.
Yes.
we really, you know who we haven't talked about?
The director.
Ray freaking Kellogg. Yeah, baby. I mean, come on. Not only did he write this movie, well, he came up with the story.
Yes.
He directed it. He did The Killer Shrews. And then, what? Not even a decade later, he directed The Green Berets with frickin' John Wayne. What the heck?
Yeah, he was an assistant director on The King and I and 7 Year Itch and Gentlemen Prefer Blondes.
He also did a lot of the special effects photography work for those.
Yeah.
Which I have a feeling that his expertise in that is what helped him be able to do the effects for the Giant Gila Monster so well. Because you know what? Give the man credit.
Yeah.
They made some really nice effects shots with all those little models, and they got the Gila Monster to mostly go where I think they wanted it to go.
Yeah.
I think they were pushing it in some of them because you see its feet are stationary.
I know. I
and
wondered
it's
if they were dragging
like,
it or
will you
something.
just go toward the little tree, you stupid lizard. Somebody put a mouse down on the other end of it and see if they'll chase
lizard.
the mouse.
Yeah. Yeah, I did feel
Stupid
that when
lizard.
Stupid
with the
lizard.
little train bit. I certainly felt that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, he's a mad artist for 20th Century Fox for a long time.
Well, and he was also a cameraman in the U.S. Army, and he was the guy that shot most of the Nuremberg war crime trials.
I know. So
So
you see black
anytime
and-
you see
yeah.
that footage, you're probably looking at Ray Kellogg.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or Ray Kellogg's work, not him personally.
Yeah.
I don't think he was on trial in Nuremberg.
Hope not.
Well, he wasn't.
No.
I am very confident that Ray Kellogg was not on trial in the...
You gotta admire a director that can go from the Giant Gila Monster to the Green Berets to a Steinbeck adaptation of The Red Pony starring Clint Howard. Yeah, I can open up Wikipedia. I can open up Wikipedia like you can.
He's
You
had
two
such a
snapping off like you
weird-
know all these things. You got freaking Wikipedia open up and you're scrolling while you're yapping.
I absolutely do not have
do
Wikipedia
not
open.
You are
I have
lying.
IMDb open. Thank you.
There you go.
And
okay.
I have sheets of paper with all this stuff written on it.
You can't read your own writing. Don't lie, Mary.
That's why I love watching these movies. I love doing the research and finding out all this weird little stuff about it.
Well, and I have to keep these things open because I can't remember anybody's name. That is my curse. I am terrible with names.
That's one of your many curses, Nick.
Well, that's the curse that is active when I'm podcasting.
That's the one we're dealing with right now.
Yes, this is the current curse.
The curse that is in front of us.
That's right.
Yes. Well, didn't he do Killer Shrews right after this?
I'm guessing they did because they were going to release them as a double bill.
Yeah.
And actually, that is so brilliant because the Killer Shrews comes in right at about the same time. Mm-hmm. So you do both of those films. You can start them at dusk and be done by 11 at the drive-in.
That's true.
That's pretty clever.
This is a great drive-in movie.
Mm-hmm,
it's a perfect drive-in movie.
Yeah.
You find something else that's about 70 minutes, 80 minutes, done. Double feature, baby.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And that's why you do the Killer Shrews with it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you. And yet again, we're going to have to do the Killer Shrews on the podcast.
Seriously,
that's all there is to it. Because I honestly thought we'd
dogs.
already done that one too.
Yeah.
But when we do the Killer Shrews, we have to point out, we got King Curtis is in that. He's straight up in it too. But he's in it with James Best. Roscoe P. Coltrane himself.
I love it.
God love it.
Oh my gosh.
He lived on the lake up here.
Do what?
He lived on the lake up here. He had a house on the lake up here.
Roscoe P. Coltrane.
Yeah. James Best.
I'm telling you.
Go get him, Flash.
Come on, Barry. We're going to get him.
Go give him Duke Boys is at it again.
Come on, Flash.
That's true.
Well, again.
And I can't make those voices, so,
Do what?
I can't make the voices like you do, so.
Well,
that means you haven't watched enough Dukes of Hazzard.
Oh, please, no.
Yeah, he's right, Mary.
I can't.
From watching a certain number of Dukes of Hazzard episodes, your brain gets rewired.
Through osmosis.
You cannot help but do Roscoe P. Coltrane. All you gotta do to talk like him is act like you need to poop.
Oh. When was the Dukes of Hazzard?
What?
When was the Dukes of Hazzard?
It was, I think, 78 to 81, maybe 82.
Okay.
Oh, my God. No, it was 79 to 1985. Thank you.
There we go, baby.
Thank you, Internet Movie Database. Holy cats.
That's why I never watched it very much.
Oh, I forgot. That's when you did all the cocaine.
Wow. Are we going to have an intervention live here on the B-Movie Cast?
No, this was the 70s. Everybody was doing the cocaine in the 70s.
It's very true.
I wasn't.
I was in elementary school, and they were like, "Hey, Nick, you want some cocaine with your lunch?" And I said, "No."
I was not in elementary school.
Me not to do
That's all I got to say.
Oh.
I will say in 1979, I was in Clay County, Kentucky, believing that the Dukes of Hazzard was happening right up the road from me in Hazzard, Kentucky.
Wow.
Heck yeah. I love that. I love that for you. Yes.
I
encourage that daydream.
It was a very strong feeling I had as a 8-9-year-old boy. But even then, my brain was going, but that sure is flat to be Hazzard, Kentucky. Because Hazzard, Kentucky is possibly the most vertical town in North America. I mean, it is just everything is built on the side of a hill in that town.
That's my hometown. Wait, no.
Okay, fine. So it's not the most vertical one. Mary's hometown is. Got to one-up me. Fine.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. You flew the space shuttle, Mary. Whatever. Okay, just keep on humble bragging.
Okay, so at this point, we've talked about Ray Kellogg. We've talked about people who weren't in this movie. We've talked about movies that had nothing to do with this movie. We've mentioned Battlestar Galactica twice. I feel like there's not much else to cover for this.
Okay,
what do you
which
guys
one's the
think?
Cartoon again?
Babylon 5.
Babylon 5, okay.
Wow, we circled back to that?
Well, see, I
that was an hour and 12 minutes ago, Mary. Come on.
I went to see my neurologist today, and he was telling me about it.
Instead of examining your brain, he was telling you about cartoons.
Well,
he's
really into sci-fi, so we talk about sci-fi a lot.
What he did was he said, "Hey, Mary, watch this cartoon and tell me if it's a cartoon or a real life thing." And that is your neurology test. So far, Mary has passed.
Yeah. Well, he's the one that turned me on to Prelude to Axanar.
Oh, okay. The fan films.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because we keep talking about it. Because I guess they did money raising for it, and they were supposed to start production in April of this year for the next one, and it's been like total radio silence.
Well, they almost got the pantsuit off of them because they raised so much money on Kickstarter or Indiegogo that Paramount took them to court for years.
Yeah, I know, but they were actually starting it in April. I guess they got through all that stuff, and then they just...
Well, that case raised a whole lot of questions about what constitutes fan fiction.
Yeah.
And
when you raise $1 million to build your own studio, you have gone way beyond the window of fan film, as far as Paramount's concerned.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the thing. If what you're doing makes money, then
there you go.
Yeah.
Rest assured, it stopped being a fan thing, and it became something the suits will be interested in.
That's true.
That's the moral of the story, kids.
Yeah.
These days, if people want good Star Trek, all they need to do is watch Strange New Worlds. That's all I got to say about that.
And I haven't seen that yet.
I am not going to disagree with you at all.
That and Anson Mount's hair is fantastic.
He has the best hair on television.
As a gray-haired person myself, I am jealous of his hair. It has a life of its own on that show.
What channel, what station do you listen to?
It's Paramount.
It used to be called Max or Paramount Plus.
It's Paramount Plus.
Okay.
I mean, it's CBS. I think you can see it through CBS maybe, but...
You might be able to rent it on Prime or something.
The best thing you can do is just subscribe to Paramount Plus through your Amazon Prime subscription. And then it'll be right there with all your other Amazon Prime stuff.
It's true old school Star Trek. That's all I got to say. So happy. And Star Trek is my first fandom. So
Yeah.
Yeah. And I got to say, it's funny because, and Mary, you know Brian.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Brian has been on a Trek binge recently, and he's been hate watching Star Trek Discovery.
Which everyone should do.
But Star Trek Discovery is what introduced the Captain Pike character played by Anson Mount. I'm not saying it introduced the character itself. I'm saying played by Anson Mount.
Correct.
Oh, okay.
With, what is it, Nathan Peck, Gregory Peck's grandson playing Mr. Spock.
It's wonderful. The casting is immaculate. And the only way to watch Discovery, the only thing you can do is hate watch it.
Oh.
Yeah.
I hate that show.
Yeah, I hate it too.
Not a fan.
Is that another Paramount Plus?
It is.
Oh, no, it's a Paramount. It was a Paramount show.
They took the one good thing out of it. The evil mirror universe Michelle Yeoh, just done. You're out of here.
Yeah.
She was amazing.
Yeah.
Well, I digress. We digress.
We have way digressed.
Yes.
This suddenly
We had
became
digressed
the
so far.
Star Trek podcast. So
Ooh,
circling back
yeah.
around, I think the fact that we just went down the Paramount Plus road. By the way, Paramount Plus, you do owe us for advertising. You're welcome.
I wish.
That's right. You'll be getting the bill. No, seriously, though, I think maybe it's time we do the old plot synopsis to this movie.
Yes. Good luck.
Hit it,
Yeah.
Nick.
Are you ready?
Okay.
There was a giant Gila monster. The end.
Named Steve.
Okay. No, actually, okay. The movie does open with that kind of, hey, here's a little pan across some pretty bleak-looking landscape, I'm guessing somewhere out in East Texas. And, you know, the camera's like, there are parts of the world that have never been explored. And in those parts, there are animals that have never been seen. And among those animals might be a giant Gila monster. And then
with a gland problem.
The big old hand comes smack down on you, which I love that effect because they obviously had like a fake Gila monster claw. And they would just swipe it at the camera periodically, and that's how they would kill people. It was so much fun.
Yeah.
And the other thing, though, is kudos to the giant Gila monster for having the funkiest looking title credits ever. I mean, seriously, wasn't it kind of cool? The giant Gila monster, all written in Gila monster talons.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, pause it when you look at the opening credits, and you'll realize that every one of those is a Gila monster claw.
Huh. Okay.
Yep. And that was one of those little things that I noticed this time when I was watching it because I wasn't watching the Mystery Science Theater version, so I could actually focus more on the movie.
Okay.
So, and it opens with, you got a couple of teenagers in a hot rod, and they're out in the middle of nowhere doing what teenagers in a hot rod out in the middle of nowhere do, which is a little heavy petting and some smoochy smooch. And that immediately leads to death. Remember that, kids.
Yes.
If you're a teenager, if you even think about having some sort of romantic relationship, a giant Gila monster will come out of the woods and eat you. Period.
Okay.
The end.
Full stop.
So, yep. Okay, so my moral lesson there is, well, not my moral lesson. It's the moral lesson of most horror movies from the 50s all the way through the 90s. It's like, if you have sex or think about it too hard, something will kill you.
Yeah.
So anyway, the giant Gila monster attacks the car, and it knocks it into the ravine and kills the kids, obviously. And I'm guessing, what we don't see is off screen. It slurps them up and eats them. But all their friends are gathered at the local sody pop shack, I guess, which, they're all there and they're dancing, listening to their funky rock and roll music and
gyrating and such.
And Chase and his girlfriend, I think her name was Lisa, actually, maybe.
Yes.
I don't know.
It was.
But anyway, they're there and she's being all French, and the sheriff comes in and says, Chase, have y'all seen Pat and that other girl whose name Nick can't remember? And I say, Sheriff, no, he was supposed to come out and see a movie with us. Well, we need to go out and look for him. But, old man Harris shows up, and we have the comedic scrunching of the face when he drinks his sody pop. And we also have the exposition scene where Chase tries to buy the man's car.
Yes.
And I guess they needed some filler because they spend a way more dialogue talking about that guy's old car than they should have, I thought. But that's beside the point.
That's comic relief,
I'll buy that. It was comic relief.
Yeah.
Sure, we'll go with that.
I mean,
a
giant lizard just ate people, so you needed some comic relief in there.
Yeah, I guess I'll buy that.
Okay.
So anyhow, we've been kind of introduced to Chase. He's, he's our boy Don Sullivan, and he's the young mechanic / musician / caregiver and breadwinner for his mother and his disabled sister / hunka burning love for the French foreign exchange student, and also the arch nemesis of Mr. Wheeler, apparently, who just has it in for the boy from the start. But anyway, Wheeler reports his son missing, and the sheriff's first thing is, well, now, you think he might have run off and eloped? I'll kill that boy if he did. Wow, you're going to regret that statement later. But anyway, so Wheeler shows up, and he immediately starts blaming Chase to the sheriff for it. And the sheriff says, Chase is a good kid. He's probably kept your son out of more trouble than he ever got him into, and blah, blah, blah. But Wheeler hates him, and there's just not going to be anything but hate there. So the gang gets together and does some searching for the missing Pat and his girlfriend. They don't find them, but they do find the car. During some very ambiguously timed scenes, we also have a hitchhiker get killed. We have the giant Gila monster just randomly wandering around, but nobody noticing it. All sorts of stuff going on out here in the East Texas woods. But later, Steamroller Smith, the disc jockey, manages to not hit the Gila monster when it's crossing the road, and the Gila monster apparently does not like alcoholics because it did not stop and eat him. It just carried on. Maybe it was full of teenagers, I don't know. But the Gila monster let him go. He wrecked his car because, he was drunk at 8 in the morning. Chase just conveniently happens along and, gives the guy a tow. And there's some, comedic relief with, hey, alcoholism is funny. Okay, it was the 50s. It was kind of funny back then, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, Chase takes him back to the garage, is beating the dents out of the fender, and the guy gives him 2 20s, which is apparently $400 in modern currency for his honesty. Because, Chase had the opportunity to steal the guy's wallet. He didn't. He could have charged the guy out the wazoo for the service and for, not calling the cops and getting him arrested. So all sorts of good things that Chase has done. By the way, Chase's crippled sister needs him to play his tiny ukulele and sing Laugh Children Laugh to her. So he does that at one point. Meanwhile, more people are getting eaten by the giant Gila monster. The sheriff, who is by himself and the only lawman, was patrolling 1,000 miles of road and blah, blah, blah. Well, he has to incorporate all the kids to help. And, of course, they don't follow police procedures, so they screw up all the CSI stuff. And meanwhile, the giant Gila monster continues killing people. And, by the way, there's some nitroglycerin at the garage for no good reason. I'm pretty sure they gave a reason that it was there, but I didn't really catch it. But it was there. Meanwhile, the guy who owns the garage gets et. A train full of people gets derailed and et. The state police, who we never see, are apparently out at the train wreck dealing with that. But everybody in the small town who's under the age of 50, who is a teenager, obviously, is at a barn dance, and the Gila monster decides he wants a smorgasbord. Oh, by the way, Steamroller Smith heard him singing while doing his stomp musical instrument stuff, and has offered and cut a demo record with Chase at some point during this ambiguous period of time when this film happens. Did I hit everything? Oh, they blow it up using Chase's hot rod.
Yeah.
Which he finally got all the cribbed parts together on.
I know. He had stolen parts off of so many dead people's cars. I mean, the Gila monster really was working with Chase to help him create his perfect automobile.
I know.
Only to have that turn around and blow him up. How ironic.
And he was just a nice little Gila monster. He was just living his
Mary,
life.
It ate how many people?
Well, that was his life.
Well, okay, Mary.
He was just trying to stay alive.
He was just a nice little 50-foot-long Gila monster that wasn't a Gila monster.
Oh.
By the way, can I just say there's probably a large number of people out there who have only seen Gila monsters because of this movie and Mystery Science Theater.
Yes.
And now they think that a Mexican bearded lizard is a Gila monster.
True.
Which means if they go to the pet store, they probably come out terrified.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying.
I think they should use one of those Galapagos lizards.
I think they used what was available for cheap.
That's true.
A Galapagos lizard, Mary, sounds like it would have been expensive.
Yeah, probably would be mean too, and they couldn't control it.
Well, yeah, they did a great job controlling this one.
But it's dragged it along.
Yeah, well, but in all seriousness, though, the lizard did look sort of like a Gila monster.
Yeah.
I'll give them that.
Yeah.
And God bless Ray Kellogg for doing it the drive-in way.
I know.
That's all I gotta say. He made an excellent drive-in movie, and Bill is right. I think this may have been the prototype for all later stereotypes and tropes for this kind of movie. Yeah, it happened at 1959 rather than 1949 when it could have set up all those tropes.
Yeah.
But I'm going to say they all knew it was coming and aspired to be the giant Gila monster.
Okay. I like the party line phone. Depending on how many times it rang, that's how you knew when to pick it up. That was cute.
That's the sheriff's ring.
Yeah.
I need to go tow dead people. I need to go reenact Faces of Death out on an abandoned Texas highway for a couple extra bucks.
Oh, my God. Okay, and by the way, I barely know what a party line is. Can you imagine? That is, the idea of a party line is so lost now.
I had one growing up.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah, my mom had a party line at one point because she explained to me what they were when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
But I've never used one.
Yeah. Well, if you were on the phone too long and the other parties wanted to use a phone, you could hear them pick it up and then make like these grunty noises like... Yeah.
Yikes. Oh, God. Are you sure that's what those grunting noises?
Mary?
Yeah, they were like,
this is a Chase Winstead level clean podcast.
This is true.
I don't want to hear about what you consider a party line.
Chase Winstead level 5.
Yes.
You now have to sing 3 verses of The Lord Said, Laugh, Children, Laugh, Mary. That is your penance.
Please, never.
40 Hail Marys, 2 Our Fathers, and 8 courses of Laugh, Children, Laugh. Your vicar would say the same thing to Mary, and you know it.
Just don't make me go to one of those sock hops, that's all.
Oh, they're boffin. They're the bee's knees.
They are.
I tell you what, for being such a small town,
they're groovy,
there are
baby.
A lot of teenagers in that town.
Well, there were a lot of 30-year-olds playing teenagers, yes.
I just loved the feel of this movie. It was so 1950s. It was like the furniture.
It's
and they
so
had
stereotypical.
They had like the one plant in the living room and the sofas. I mean, it was just perfect. The gas station with all its little mobile oil cans. And I do want to say, Mary, it was so 1950s because it was made in 1959.
Yeah. Okay, it was the 50s when they made it.
It
This
was
wasn't
so
some kind of
authentic,
set
though.
dressing.
There you go. There's the word we're looking for, authentic.
It was so authentic.
It was just like it was made in the 1950s. Good job, people, for making it in the 1950s.
The verisimilitude was amazing. It's like I was transported back to the 50s.
Yes. Oh.
Well, I
Yes.
think we can all agree that this was a really fun little flick to do.
Absolutely.
so.
This is a great
And-
Saturday afternoon with snacks movie for sure.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
It
so
is.
many people get down on it so badly for the special effects, and but I just thought it was great. It was state of the art back then.
Yeah,
mean,
I also
people are
think
so
that because it's
spoiled
been
now.
on Mystery Science Theater,
That's true.
that brings some baggage with it.
Mm-hmm.
That it's like,
Yeah.
you know, I used to be the biggest MST3K fan ever, but I also think that there's a degree of meanness
Oh, big time.
involved as
Big
the
time.
show got older, or even the reboot. There's a degree of meanness involved that doesn't allow someone just to enjoy the film for what it is.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I unironically really love Ed Wood films. I love Monster of Piedras Blancas. I love the Giant Mantis, the Day the World Ended, these atomic era films. But once it's been fed into the Mystery Science Theater machine where they taught you how to make fun of such films,
Yeah.
it's like to actually really kind of like it and want to see them restored to their original, kind of version. It's kind of frowned upon, or you're being judged immediately for, not making fun of it.
Yeah.
And I think that's too bad.
I know.
No, I'm going to agree with you on that, Bill, because I love Mystery Science Theater, but you're right. It does have a certain level of
snark.
When they do a movie, it implies a certain level of this movie has no redeeming value.
Correct. Yes.
And I do think that's a mistake. Now, that said, they've done a lot of movies that had no redeeming value, but they've also done a lot of movies that did, and this is one of them.
But
for
I
sure.
think you can always find something good in a movie.
I think I'm with Mary on this, because most people did not set out like, let's put on a show in a barn and make a bad movie.
Right.
There were, I would, I'm enough of a Pollyanna and a kind of glass half full guy to kind of say, well, they didn't start out doing it. It's just like with Ed Wood and with other people, their passion is not matched by their talent, and, Ed Wood, given better people around him, and if he had learned, more of his trade, I think could have done a lot better. And I think that, nobody starts out, like I said, to make a bad movie. They might want to make a sarcastic movie or kind of a wink and a nod to the quote, bad movies of the past. But I think, people like, what's the guy, the director? He's,
Tommy Wiseau?
The Mimiverse.
God,
Yeah.
I know him, and why am I drawing a blank on this?
Yeah, but his movies are love letters to that era.
Christopher Mim.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Sorry,
Christopher Mim. Thank you. Yeah, sorry, Christopher.
We've done one of his movies,
stuff,
I think.
I think his heart's in the right place, and
Exactly.
I love that kind of thing. It's almost like the mirror universe version of Mystery Science Theater.
Yeah.
And are you going to make fun of it, or are you going to embrace it and celebrate?
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, and he definitely celebrates it.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
And he's a nice guy.
There's that too. He's almost Chase Winfield nice.
Mm-hmm.
Chase Winfield level nice.
I mean, that's saying a lot.
Yes.
By the way.
Saint Chase Winfield.
That's what was weird about this movie was the teenager was actually good. He wasn't a hood. A lot of these teenage movies that the kids are hoods and they're bad and they're,
Actually, to me, that wasn't so strange because if you watch a lot of the 50s movies, I always go back to The Blob.
Mm-hmm.
The teenagers were the ones that were figuring out what was going on. They were the ones that understood the danger. They were the ones being responsible, and the adults who wouldn't listen to them were the problem.
That's true.
And this one was interesting because the sheriff and Chase were friends.
Yeah.
They worked together.
Mm-hmm.
The sheriff admired Chase for the way he had stepped up to support his family.
Yep.
This was not your typical dynamic in these films.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why.
Now, the Wheeler character, he was very much your typical dynamic from these films. But the sheriff, the way he got along with him, I felt like that was something a little extraordinary for the writing of the film.
Yeah. And the guy,
in a good
Compton,
way.
The guy that owned the garage, too.
Yes.
Yeah, Compton. Yeah, well, good Lord, if it weren't for Chase, that garage would have gone out of business. My God.
Or got blown
Chase
up
is
by
like,
improper handling of nitroglycerin.
Yeah, well, that's true.
What's that large mushroom cloud coming from the direction of the garage? Must have been nitroglycerin. I also want to give a shout out to another person who is in the Christopher Mim vein, Joshua Kennedy, who, another guy who's doing great work out there, directing, writing his own films. Very much, love letters to like Hammer or the Peplum and things like that. So Josh Kennedy's doing Godzilla's work out there as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, and Josh, okay. So Christopher Mim does the 50s type sci-fi movies. And I think that Josh Kennedy really nails the 60s Hammer films.
He really does.
And that whole genre. And I mean, they both do some amazing stuff.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
As a matter of fact, we need to see about getting them on the podcast at some point.
There you
Both
go.
of them.
Yeah.
Make it happen, baby. Get some good interviews going. Let's get them some more traction out there.
Heck yeah. As a matter of fact, I'll put some links to both of their. Wow, there are going to be a lot of links in the show notes to this one.
Well, we've
folks.
covered a lot of ground
saying.
here in our various ramblings.
Yeah.
Oh, there's one other thing we've got to put a link to.
What?
What?
My boy Bill's new YouTube channel.
Oh yeah, the new YouTube.
Wow, is that not subtle plug?
Wow,
okay,
boy.
Tell me about it.
I guess my check cleared.
Oh, there's a check? Damn it.
Well, as the listeners of the B Movie Cast probably do not know, I used to have a little podcast called Bill Watches Movies. And the late, great show has gone to the great podcasting graveyard in the sky.
Aww.
It is no more. But I've started a YouTube channel, and in my mind, there's a Venn diagram. In one circle, there are the fans of the B Movie Cast. And the other circle is people who love to play the Call of Cthulhu tabletop role-playing game or other tabletop games. I've been playing tabletop games since 1981, 1982. It's a hobby I'm very passionate about. It's a game that I love. So if we cross those two Venn diagrams together, there might be a little sliver of people. And if you are, I would love to have you come check out my videos. Go on YouTube and search for Bill Plays Cthulhu. The very creatively, the focus group spent a great deal of time coming up with that channel name. But yeah, I'm just having fun. I love playing tabletop games. Everything's kind of online now because COVID killed my local group. But if you're a tabletop gamer, come on over. Let's talk tabletop games. But thank you.
I've never done one of those.
Oh, they're fun. They are wonderful fellowship. I absolutely love it.
Isn't that what they did? Oh, what's the name of that stupid movie they've done? It was a series. Three Boys. Okay, never mind.
Are you talking about Stranger Things?
Yes. Didn't
they played Dungeons and Dragons and Stranger Things, yes.
Yeah, okay.
I was never a D&D fan. I can't buy into elves and dwarves and stuff. I was much more Traveler, Top Secret, which was a James Bond with the serial numbers filed off. There's Traveler, which is kind of space oriented. There was Star Trek Adventures. That's a new one that's out now. There's always been a Star Trek table, but whatever you're interested in, there's a tabletop game that you would love. I guarantee it.
I'm gonna have to say that Bill's right. I think we're actually in a renaissance for tabletop games.
This is a golden age of tabletop role playing. Absolutely.
Yeah. And I've watched some of Bill's stuff, and it is fun. So check it out. There will be a link in the show notes.
Thank you. For that very small sliver Venn diagram of people who are listening and people who like tabletop gaming.
Well, and I like tabletop gaming. And by the way, I do want to just check. When you said COVID killed your tabletop gaming group, you didn't mean it killed them, right?
Not literally.
I'm just checking.
Yes. Not literally.
Because I don't want us to go down the dark road there.
No, not darker road, no.
Okay. I mean, we're at a Chase Winfield or Winstead, whatever level of Winstead.
St. Chase.
We're Chase Winstead level of goodness. So
yes, absolutely.
All right. Well, is there? Did you want to do some feedback, Mary?
Do we have time?
We have time.
Okay, yes. Let's do some feedback. Our first one is from Santitito. It says, hello, Mary.
All right.
Albert Finney with a wolf. It has to be the 1981 Wolfen. I saw it in theaters when it came out and remember liking it very much and have not seen it since. A forgotten classic. I've got to see that movie.
I think we do need to do that film, Mary. You're right.
Seriously. I want to see this movie now. Okay. This next one is from Christopher Page from the Time Shifters podcast. He says, great pick for the contest. I had to look up the year, but I knew right away that this was from Wolfen from 1981. I watched this film decades ago, and it has stuck with me, at least as a concept. It is one I need to revisit to remind myself of the finer points. I remember it being a really interesting take on the werewolf idea. Maybe werewolf, maybe not. I seem to remember more wolves than werewolves, and I remember it taking place in an urban setting rather than rural. So, as I said, I need to revisit. Hope all is well with everyone in the clubhouse. Hope to see you all again soon. And that's from Christopher Page. Yay!
Yay, Chris.
Yes. And now we have a voicemail from Brian Howard from New York.
Ooh.
Hi, Mary. Hi, Nick. I'm not sure. I don't think Brian Cunningham is here this week. This is Mr. Brian calling in New York. I'm currently listening to episode 516, Looker. And I am very disappointed in all you. Minus 10,000 points for everybody. This movie, I'm a big Michael Crichton fan as well, and Looker was a part of my childhood, and I grew up watching this a zillion times. And when it came out on Blu-ray, I was more than happy to buy it. But I'm about 37 minutes into episode 516, and you guys are just tearing a childhood favorite to shreds.
Aww.
That makes me sad.
I'm
so
sorry.
I think you ought to give it a second chance. But love the show. Keep up the excellent work. I had a second and a final question. At some point, probably 2 to 3 years ago, the podcast feed in Apple Podcasts The artwork for the B movie cast went from the B movie cast to the picture of an alien. Is there no way to rectify that, or even to get Apple involved and to have them fix it for you if you sent them a picture of the old photo? I just find that very strange that in today's world of technology, nobody can kind of help you guys out and get that done for you. So, but that's it. Wanted to say hello, first time caller.
Hi, Brian.
And again, very disappointed that you guys are not enjoying Looker. I'm taking it. You're not going to enjoy the rest of the movie. So I'm going to go finish and listen to the podcast. Hope everybody's well. Stay safe. And thank you for taking my call.
Well, thank you, Brian.
Okay. First thing I'm going to address is the image on Apple Podcasts for the movie. We had that nice image, so just as a lark, I changed it for a while, and somehow or other it got into the metadata for the podcast, and it is just stuck in Apple Podcasts. And I have tried to fix it, but I can't seem to get it to change in Apple Podcasts. It's changed everywhere else. And I'm going to throw Mary under the bus here because I don't own any of the accounts that the B-Movie Cast is hosted or served through. And Mary's the one that has all the Apple account stuff somewhere in the B-Movie Cast studio office. So I'm going to put it on Mary to call Apple and get this fixed. Because if I call Apple, they're going to say, and who are you? You're one of the hosts. So obviously you have the password to this account. And at that point, I will probably lose my Apple license. I don't even know what an Apple license is, but you get my point there.
But you wouldn't have one after that discussion.
That's true. Now, I will also say, going back to what you said about Looker, you know what? I am not going to disagree with you because I found Looker because it was one of those movies that was just constantly playing on cable back in the early 80s when all I did during the summer was sit in the house and watch movies on cable until somebody forced me to go outside and see sunlight. So
go touch grass, Nick. Go touch grass.
Go touch grass. That's right. And the thing is, I, as a kid, really enjoyed Looker. Mm-hmm. And I went back and rewatched it about 2 years during the COVID pandemic. We actually did a watch party and watched Looker with my friends Eric Brooks and his wife Twyla Muneer Brooks. And watching it then, I still enjoyed it. And yeah, there were the plot holes, but I didn't dive deep into the plot holes. And I think what kind of happened with our podcast was we got going down the plot hole road, and I started letting out some vitriol that had built up over the years for the fact that I wanted the film to be better than it was, so it would be as good as I remembered it as a kid. And by the way, I did find on YouTube some of the cut scenes from the original release of Looker that added the exposition in. And honestly, there's a little 7-minute long scene that puts a hell of a lot back into that movie.
Yeah.
And fixes a lot of plot holes.
Yeah.
You know, and specifically it has a line by James Coburn when he's explaining why they're killing the models. And I'm not going to repeat the line. I'm going to put the link to this in the show notes. Oh my God, I've got so many links to put in the show notes. But seriously, there's a line by James Coburn in that is just, to me, very chilling. And I love it. So I'm not going to disagree with you that we gave it too hard a time. That said, the movie needed to be better. It was Michael Crichton. The man was a genius.
Yeah.
The film should have been better, but it was still way ahead of its time. I mean, we're talking 42 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
He was predicting the stuff we're dealing with now with AI.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Okay.
True.
So I think I'm done responding to everything.
Okay.
By the way, thank you so much for calling in.
Yeah,
we really appreciate it.
Now you're going to make me go look up the password for Apple.
No, you just have to call them up, Mary, and say, "Look, I'm the the owner of this. Fix it."
How do where do you find a phone number for Apple? I don't even know where to start.
Ironically, I would say Google it.
Yeah. You can't talk to people.
All right. Mary.
Yeah. What?
What's our next
we'll
piece
talk
of
about this
feedback?
later. Okay. This next one is from Scott Wirtz. It's real quick. It says, it's Wolfen from 1981. Haven't seen this for a long time, but remember liking it quite a bit. I've got to see that movie. Okay, and this next one's from Marlo Brown from the Haunted Borderlands of South
Marlo.
Texas. Hi, Marlo.
Hey, Marlo might be out near where they filmed this. Wait, he's in San Antonio, I think. So nowhere near where they filmed this. Never mind. But he's in Texas.
I don't know where they filmed this. There's a name of the
just
city.
outside of Dallas, Mary.
Oh, okay.
It's right there on the IMDb page.
Okay. Okay, it says, from Marlo, hi, Mary, Nick, Juan, and the gang at the B-Movie Clubhouse. I believe the answer to the contest is Wolfen from 1981. That was the great Albert Finney in the photo. Please do, Wolfen. Please, please, please. I've enjoyed the recent episodes and have a few rambling, semi-coherent comments. Episode 513, The Assassination Bureau. I share Nick's love of airships, and I'm sort of obsessed with the USS Akron and the USS Macon, two airborne aircraft carriers. Docking a parasite biplane fighter with an airship was not for the faint of heart. My favorite movie that features an airship is Up. Oh, I love that one. That was cute. Though Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade is a lot of fun. Episode 514, Kiss Me Deadly. What a great episode and movie. I tracked down the Criterion DVD at the excellent San Antonio Public Library and really enjoyed it. Thank you so much. And by the way, Mark Mostyn is 100% correct about owning DVDs or Blu-rays of films. Streaming movies or online books can disappear or can be modified to fit the fads of the day. I'm afraid the J.R.R. Tolkien books are going to suffer the same fate at some point. To anyone who doubts me, I have 3 words. Hand shot first.
Yeah.
Okay. Episode 515, The Norseman. This was a documentary about Vikings settling in Florida, right?
Yes. It was actually a documentary about Lee Majors' porn star stash from the 70s.
Oh, I'm never going to forget that movie, honestly.
You're welcome.
Oh, man. He goes on to say, good episode, entertaining film, though I like the Franzetta-esque poster art even more than the movie. I wasn't bothered by Lee Major's mustache. My wife has never seen me without one. When I was on USS Rents, I grew my stash just to blend in. Okay. Episode 516, I'll have to look for this one. And then I can go back and listen to the cast. I'm looking forward to it. One note from Mary, a bonus of working at the UIW library is that we have a colony of semi-feral cats who live outside. A pic shows 5 of the 6. If you go to the official UIW library website, you can see 4 cats lounging outside the library on and around the picnic table. Thanks for everything. Bye, Mary. It's Marlo from the Haunted Borderlands of South Texas. Bye, Marlo. Oh, those cats are so cute. Sorry.
It's a podcast, Mary. They can't see what you're talking about.
I know. I should post the picture of the cats.
There you go.
I will do that. Okay. And there's a link to the library with the pictures. I'll send the link to Nick and he can post it in the show notes.
Okay. At this point, it's not show notes. It's going to be the show novel. But, yeah.
Okay, this next one is from William Lee Hess. He says, I am fully enjoying the podcast after finding it during the winter of 23. I've listened to the bulk of the podcasts. Keep up the great shows. Wow. Thank you.
Well, thank you.
Seriously.
That's a lot of dang listening, I tell you what.
Is.
Well, dang.
That'll take care of your winter.
That's true.
And your spring and your summer and your fall, pretty much.
Seriously.
At least twice, yeah.
Wow. Okay, this next one is a two-parter from Paul, the now retired and traveling the U.S. mailman.
Sweet.
Hey, movie cast peoples. Paul, the retired mailman, calling in. I'm out here in Mesa, Arizona. Once again, Mom's doing fine now, so this is just a little visit. She's back up to normal. I've been out here for the past couple weeks. It's the last day of August, and in a few hours, I'm going to be headed over to the airport and fly over to Memphis for the weekend for one of them dang old furry conventions.
Aww.
And then head home on Monday. I'm going to have a day to rest up, and then I'll be jumping in my car and headed down to Baltimore for the Eastern Atlantic convention. What is it? Nostalgia convention.
Mid-Atlantic.
Got some friends down there. Hopefully, I heard Juan might be down there too. I haven't seen Juan in ages, so.
Okay, and here is part two because
he got cut off.
Yeah.
Hey, that was unexpected. It hung up on me. I'm using Mom's phone, which usually works okay, not my own phone, which hates your answering machine.
Yeah, it does.
Anyway, I was just saying that I was going to go down to Mid-Atlantic Nostalgia Convention, and got a couple conventions in October, the October Monster Bash, and then a local science fiction convention in Rochester, New York. So I'm keeping busy. I'm a little bit behind in the B-Movie cast shows, but I'll catch up on them when I get home. But I'm still around. I'm doing well, and hope to see a lot of you out there at the cons. So signing off, Paul the Mailman, retired. Bye-bye.
Retired.
Hey, it's great to hear from Paul, the retired mailman.
Seriously.
Even if we don't get the sweet little beep beep from his mail truck.
I used to love hearing that. He always ended with beep beep. Anyway, I heard the Nostalgia Convention was great, and a bunch of people were there. Scream Magazine, Daryl was there. I think Tinkle was there with all his stuff. Juan did go. Brenda went. She had a table.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's one of my bucket list conventions. I think I'm gonna try to go next year.
I think I am too.
All
I
right,
really
let's
wanted
do
to
it.
this year, but I just couldn't do it at this point. But next year. Sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. This next one's from Patrick Kelly. It says, thanks so much for all the nice stuff you said about my books in your last podcast. Kind words indeed. I'm looking forward to the Giant Gila Monster podcast. John Milner and I are fine-tuning our street rods in case the monster gets the jump on us and we need to make a quick getaway.
You got to go get the nitro.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. No, we don't want to blow up Patrick.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah. I'm still waiting for my brother to send down the other two books that he promised he was going to send. But I'm going to have to call him and tell him. Okay, this last one is from Richard Chamberlain. It says, holy heck, I actually remembered to do the contest before the deadline for the first time in years. I hope all is well with everyone there. I believe the answer is Wolf in 1981. And that's Richard, formerly from Wichita and now from Kansas.
One of the co-hosts of the Classic Horrors Club.
Yes.
Check them out immediately.
Yes, but I'm not putting any more links in the show notes.
You'll put links in and you'll like it, young man. We'll turn this podcast right around.
With the links, that there sody pop.
Okay, that's it. All done.
Well, thank you very much, Mary, for having us on again.
Thank you, Mary.
I thank you.
And
this
Bill,
was
thank
fun.
you super duper much for hopping on the podcast to talk about hot rods and lizards.
Yes.
You know, two of my
Cops.
favorite things. No, I am. Anytime you and Mary need me, I am here for you. I love being on the show. Y'all are a blessing, and I love both y'all very much. So I'm glad to help.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks, Bill. We appreciate you, man. You're great. And as always, your silky smooth tones add a level of class to the show.
This is true. This is true. And
I'll wear my smoking jacket and cravat next time for the full experience.
I assume that you're already wearing them.
That's true. That's true.
All right.
Hopefully we'll be
thanks,
doing
guys.
podcasts a little more often now that I'm recovering.
Good. Just holler when you need me. Glad to be here.
Yay. Cool. Well, thank you.
All right. Well, thanks a lot, guys.
Good night, y'all. Take care.
Bye.
Adios, Mafia.
Well, they've gone.
For good, John?
No, just for now. It wasn't the right time for us to meet. But there'll be other nights, other stars for us to watch. They'll be back.
The ghosts are moving tonight, restless, hungry.
All right, fellas, here's your story. Greetings, my friend. We are all interested in the future, for that is where you and I are going to spend the rest of our lives. And we cannot keep this a secret any longer.
Wait, Captain. I have found evidence of intelligent beings on this planet.
Look to the skies. It's the B-Movie Cookbook. Menus inspired by 15 of your favorite B-movies from the 1950s, with teenage werewolves, blobs, and enough cheese for everyone.
When we return to our planet, the High Court may well sentence you to torture.
But until then, we've got Ed Wood and Vincent Price.
There'll be food and drink and ghosts, and perhaps even a few murders. You're all invited.
So impress your friends with dinner and a movie with the B-Movie Cookbook. We've got you covered. Get your copy today at bmoviecookbook.com. That's bmoviecookbook.com.
Let me see that book. I am interested to see what sways your mind so heavily.
Sure thing. Just visit bmoviecookbook.com.
Anybody around here want some coffee?
Transmission.
The good guys always win, even in the 80s.